Two phones, one question. Is folding the future or just a fancy flex? In 2025, the foldable war isn't about specs anymore. It's about who dares to define what a phone should be. Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 6 represents years of refinement, a device polished to near perfection. The OnePlus Open 2, on the other hand, stands as a bold promise, delayed, mysterious, yet still defiant. One brand believes mastery means control. The other believes progress means chaos. By the end, only one philosophy will survive. But which one deserves to? The story starts with a simple truth. Every generation of smartphones looks the same until someone dares to fold it in half. Samsung was first to make it mainstream. Now it's fighting boredom. The Z Fold 6 is the sixth iteration of a dream that once looked impossible. A full-sized tablet that fits in your pocket. It doesn't scream innovation, it whispers control. Thinner bezels, flatter hinge, lighter frame. Samsung's message is clear. Folding isn't a trick anymore. It's normal. But just as the Fold 6 hit shelves, OnePlus was supposed to strike back. The first Open stunned critics for doing the one thing Samsung never could, making a foldable that felt practical. No tall, narrow outer screen, no awkward typing angles. It unfolded wider, brighter, and faster. Reviewers called it the foldable that made sense. So when whispers of the Open 2 began, fans expected war, a clash of design philosophies, Samsung's Polish versus OnePlus's Rebellion. Yet 2025 arrived, and the Open 2 didn't. Still, the question lingers. Who got it right? Open a Fold 6 and you're met with the familiar. The 7.6-inch AMOLED screen unfolds like origami glass, perfectly balanced by a redesigned titanium frame that trims off weight without losing strength. The outer display is finally usable, no more cramped keyboard or black bar aesthetics. The hinge feels solid, almost smug in its silence. Samsung calls it the lightest fold ever. Reviewers call it evolution. Critics call it safe. Because safe is both Samsung's strength and its curse. After 5 generations of experiments, the Fold 6 feels perfected, but predictable. It's the Tesla Model S of foldables. Efficient, elegant, and expected. Meanwhile, the ghost of OnePlus's next move haunts the market. Rumors swirl of delayed prototypes, changing suppliers, even whispers of a strategic pivot. OnePlus promised a thinner fold, a bigger battery, and near-seamless crease. But promises without products are like screens without pixels. Bright ideas, no image. And yet, that's what keeps this rivalry alive. Philosophy. Samsung's philosophy, Polish until flawless. Make the fold invisible, the hinge unnoticeable, the experience seamless. For them, innovation isn't about doing something new. It's about making the extraordinary feel ordinary. Their success proves it. Millions of folds sold, growing faster than any premium Android line. OnePlus's philosophy, rethink everything. Their first Open changed ergonomics, multitasking, and the camera system by asking what a foldable should actually do. It wasn't about flexing technology, it was about usability. You could open it with one hand, type comfortably when closed, and snap photos without awkward angles. It was rebellion, not just refinement. So what happens when refinement meets rebellion? Let's look closer. The Z Fold 6 is a masterclass in balance. At 239 grams, it's lighter than before, yet solid as ever. The inner display hits 2,600 nits peak brightness, 120 Hz refresh rate, and a new anti-reflective coating that kills glare outdoors. Samsung even added dust resistance, a long-awaited fix for fragile folds. Its Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip, paired with 12 GB RAM, flies through multitasking. Flex mode feels smoother. Windows resize more intuitively. And battery life, still 4,400 mAh, lasts a full day. The only complaint? Feels too familiar. Now step into the OnePlus vision, where ambition hasn't caught up with release schedules. If early prototypes and leaks are true, the Open 2 aims for an 8-inch display, a near-flat crease, and a 6,000 mAh battery, all in a chassis thinner than Samsung's. The camera partnership with Hasselblad would continue, with larger sensors and better color science. Fast charging would blow Samsung out of the water, possibly 80-watt wired. And the price, rumored to undercut the Fold 6 by hundreds. It sounds perfect. Too perfect. Because the one thing OnePlus hasn't managed is timing. Their first Open launched late but impressed everyone. Their second may not arrive before the next wave of Samsung and Google Folds. Innovation delayed is innovation denied. But let's pause on the numbers. The real war is in how these phones feel. The Fold 6 is smooth, quiet confidence. It folds and unfolds with that satisfying magnetic click, like closing a luxury watch clasp. Every line is symmetrical, every motion precise. It's less of a gadget and more of a statement. A phone that says, "I've arrived." But it's heavy in the pocket, still thicker than a normal flagship, and you feel it. OnePlus took the opposite route. Its first Open felt almost too light. It closed flush, it opened wider, it felt liberating, and that spirit still defines what the Open 2 could be. Less machine, more freedom. Samsung gives you control. OnePlus promises liberation. On the inside, Samsung's ecosystem dominance gives it the upper hand. Its multitasking feels native. Drag an app across the screen, split into 2 or 3 panes, and it just works. You can stream a video, edit a document, and chat, all without slowdown. The Fold 6 even syncs with Galaxy tabs and watches through a unified interface. It's a whole digital lifestyle, not just a phone. OnePlus, on the other hand, built its reputation on speed and simplicity. Oxygen OS is sleek, minimal, and tactile, but foldables demand software artistry. That's where Samsung's years of refinement pay off. The Fold's interface doesn't just adapt, it anticipates. Still, Samsung's hardware refinement comes with a creative cost. There's no shock anymore. It's an almost sterile perfection, the kind that wins wars but loses excitement. And that's where OnePlus once thrived. Chaos, risk, drama. Take cameras. The Fold 6's 50-megapixel main sensor captures crisp, consistent shots. Better HDR, better detail, especially under bright light. The 10-megapixel telephoto gives real optical zoom. Portraits finally pop. But next to slab flagships like the S24 Ultra, it's merely adequate. The Open series had a different attitude. The first Open used a 48-megapixel Sony sensor, tuned for realism, not Samsung's signature saturation. Photos felt cinematic, alive. The Open 2 was rumored to double down on that natural style, challenging Samsung's processed perfection. But again, rumors can't shoot photos. Battery tells a similar story. Samsung's Fold 6 lasts about the same as before, roughly a day. Efficient, reliable, never thrilling. OnePlus's projected 6,000 mAh pack could change that. But until it exists, Samsung owns the only working formula. Not amazing, but enough. And then there's the philosophy of price. Samsung charges for pedigree. The Fold 6 sits near the $1,800 mark. OnePlus had aimed for sub-$1,500. The message is clear. Samsung sells legacy. OnePlus sells rebellion. Which matters more, confidence or courage? Every year, the foldable debate cycles between these two poles, practicality versus progress. In 2025, that gap has never felt wider. Samsung polished its Fold into a masterpiece, but OnePlus may have pushed so far forward it fell off the edge of release schedules. Look at the market. Apple still sits on the sidelines watching. Google is fine-tuning its Pixel Fold. Chinese brands like Honor and Xiaomi are experimenting with foldables of their own. But Samsung dominates global sales because it delivers a finished product. That's the key word, finished. So, who finally got it right? In 2025, Samsung did. It didn't reinvent the wheel. It made sure the wheel could roll for millions of users without cracking. The Z Fold 6 isn't revolutionary, but it's dependable, durable, and refined. It's the culmination of half a decade of engineering discipline. But if getting it right means capturing imagination, making people believe phones can still surprise, then OnePlus deserves its shadowed spotlight. Its first Open proved that a smaller brand can embarrass a giant. Its delayed sequel proves that even rebels bleed. The Fold 6 is the victory of execution. The Open 2, even unseen, is the victory of ambition. And maybe that's the point. Maybe this war isn't meant to end with a winner, because the real prize isn't the best foldable. It's the best idea of what a phone should be. Samsung wants your trust. OnePlus wants your curiosity. Both are fighting for your identity. So when the next chapter unfolds, whether it's Samsung's Fold 7 or OnePlus's long-awaited comeback, the question won't be who has the best hinge or the brightest display. It'll be this: who dares to make folding mean something again? Until then, the throne belongs to Samsung. But the spark of rebellion, that's still flickering at OnePlus HQ, waiting for the next fold to rise. Because innovation never really dies. It just takes longer to charge. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, share it with your favorite tech junkie, and subscribe for more cinematic showdowns like this one. The next fold might not just change your phone. It might change what a phone even is.